What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Detail Dad. On today's episode, we're going to be spending some time with a 4x4 icon from the mid-80s with a cult following that's known to be pretty much unstoppable both in its reliability and its off-road worthiness. And no, I'm not talking about a Jeep Wrangler or a Cherokee. I'm talking about this adorable little thing, a second-generation Suzuki Samurai. Now, before we get started, if you like detailing, you like clean cars, and possibly learning a little bit about car history here and there, consider hitting the subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you don't miss any of our future content. So when the Suzuki Samurai hit the US shores back in 1986, it not only posed tough competition for the Wrangler because of its abilities, but it also sold well because it was very cheap and easy to modify. Sadly, after a few years of solid production, a Consumer Reports article broke that accused the Samurai being easy to roll over, and sales plummeted over the following years. The following decade saw Suzuki and Consumer Reports going back and forth in court, primarily because of internal documents leaked from Suzuki that made it clear that both Suzuki and GM, who was helping Suzuki import the Samurai at that time, knew about the rollovers, and they knew that they needed to create a crisis plan to deal with potential backlash. The suit was eventually settled outside of court, and the Samurai met its fate in 1995, being replaced by both the Suzuki Sidekick and the Geo Tracker. Till this day, the Suzuki is still sold all over the world as a Suzuki Jimny and enjoys a cult following that will ensure that there will be both newer Jimneys and older Samurais on the road, conquering the trails and the beaches all over the world for decades to come. This particular Samurai is a 1986 model that is in incredibly good condition for its age. It hasn't been run on the streets for many years due to some minor mechanical issues that the owner really hasn't had time to fix yet. I believe it's all original minus the wheels, steering wheel, and some gauge pods that were added to the interior. We're going to be completing what I like to call a preservation detail. The detail will consist of a full interior detail followed by an exterior wash and wax applied by a dual action buffer. Unfortunately, at this time, the owner is not sure when he's going to actually drive the vehicle again, but wanted to get it cleaned up before he stuffs it back in the garage under a car cover. As usual, I'll start with the most difficult part of the vehicle first, which in this vehicle just so happens to be the interior. We'll start by brushing and vacuuming the carpets to loosen and remove as much dirt as possible. Now that we're done with our vacuuming, we can move on to the rest of the interior. I'll be attacking the seats first. I'll do this by using a combination of an all-purpose cleaner with a touch of bleach diluted 20:1 and a drill brush to help loosen and remove any caked on dirt. Though the seats and the door cards look clean in this shoot, they actually have a light layer of mildew on them from being stored in a very, very humid garage. Hence the reason why I'm using a little bit of bleach. During this portion, I'll also use my steam cleaner to address high touch point areas in the interior like door handles and the little cracks and crevices on the dash. Once this is done, I'll move to the rear of the vehicle, paying close attention to the areas just to the left and right of the rear seats. With everything clean, I can now move to protecting all of the interior surfaces. I'll be using 303 as my protectant of choice today, and I'll allow it to sit and saturate the areas prior to removing any excess liquid. Due to the age of the plastics and the vinyl of this vehicle, I'll be doing this on 2 separate applications. With the interior complete, we'll move on to the exterior, starting with the wheels and tires. We'll clean both using a mix of degreasers and iron removers to make sure that we get the finish that we're after. Once all 4 wheels are complete, we'll rinse the vehicle, paying special attention to the wheel wells as they were filled with mud wasp nests. You can actually see some of them flying around in the pre-wash portion. To say that these things were not happy is an understatement. Once that's complete, I'll work my way around the vehicle, starting with the fabric top and a long handled detail brush. I'll then continue the remainder of the wash with a traditional wash mitt. Once the wash is complete, back into the garage it goes to get air and towel dried. Using this process will make sure that there isn't any residual water left in any crevices when we start waxing. Once the vehicle is dry, I'll tape off any areas I feel may be prone to staining from the wax and wipe the entire vehicle down with isopropyl alcohol. This will help remove any leftover oils or wax that will prevent the new wax from bonding to the paint correctly. Today I'll be using Meguiar's M26, better known as Meguiar's High-Tech Yellow Wax. This wax has a blend of carnauba, synthetic polymers, and silicones that will help add gloss, protection, and hide imperfections. This wax is also easily found at your local Walmart or AutoZone. I'll be applying this wax using both the 6-inch and 3-inch Griot's Garage DA polishers topped with finishing pads. Contrary to what most people believe, a little goes a long way, and thinner coats will help protect better as the wax will flash, cure, and bond to the paint properly with thinner coats. Once the entire vehicle is covered in wax, I'll allow it to sit for 10 to 20 minutes before removing with a clean microfiber towel. And here we are, this 1986 Suzuki Samurai is cleaned, protected, and ready to go back into the garage until the fateful day where its owner decides it's ready for it to frolic again. It's perfect for taking the top off and hitting the beach, or keeping the top on and hitting the trails. Hopefully its owner gets it out sooner than later. Once again, if you like what you saw today, consider subscribing. Thank you for stopping by The Detail Dad, and we'll see you next time.